I'm a Palestinian atheist progressive, so basically the exact opposite of Charlie Kirk. I believe that Kirk's pro-Christian, pro-Israel right-wing ideas and values were harmful, destructive. But this video isn't about celebrating his killing. It's about why celebrating his killing is dangerous, even for those of us who opposed everything he stood for. So yesterday, Charlie Kirk, a popular and controversial American conservative activist, was shot and killed during an event at a university in Utah. He was only 31 years old. As of filming this video, his shooter is still at large. But this video isn't about the killing itself or about the shooter. It's about how people have reacted to Kirk's death and what those reactions reveal about us as a society, especially those of us who never agreed with him, myself included. I first came across Charlie Kirk through his outdoor Prove Me Wrong campus debates, where progressive young people, usually labeled as woke students, lined up to argue with him. He struck me as one of those abrasive, combative personalities that the internet loves to amplify. People who thrive on provoking others and turning confrontations into viral content.
You create a company that's like close to being a fascist, and then
Okay. How am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
Dude,
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
you believe that you on. Oh, shit.
What is a woman?
That's a stupid ass question, dude. That's a dumbass question.
What is a woman, college student?
What is a woman? Oh, you're talking to a college student instead of I don't know, somebody who has media training?
They can't answer what a woman is. It's not a trick question. What is a woman?
Someone who identifies as a woman.
What is that thing? You can't answer the question with the question.
Before his death, Kirk used this approach to build a massive platform as he participated in the US cultural wars. His podcast reached 500,000 monthly listeners, and he had more than 5 million followers on X. He co-founded Turning Point USA, which mobilized young conservatives to back Trump in the 2024 election. He dismissed the police killing of George Floyd that sparked the Black Lives Matter protests, calling Floyd a scumbag, which is ironic considering there are many who dismiss Kirk's death now because they see him as a scumbag, but more about that later. He also advocated for traditional Christian values, and in a Jubilee debate where he stated that abortion is murder, he clarified that he was even opposed to abortion cases where a 10-year-old girl got pregnant from rape.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped, and she was going to give birth and she would and she was going to give birth and she was going to live, would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
And in what some might say is poetic justice, he once said that gun deaths were an acceptable cost to preserve the Second Amendment to keep and bear arms. When you add all that up, it's not hard to understand why some people struggle to feel empathy for him now. If you were a young woman in America, for example, hearing someone argue to take away your reproductive rights, why would you mourn his passing? Especially when he even dismissed empathy itself outright.
Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage.
And I'll be honest about myself. When I first saw the news that Kirk had been shot before I knew he died, my reaction was conflicted. Part of me felt sadness. Another part of me thought, well, is this actually a good thing? Because I knew how harmful his ideas were, and I'd even read that Trump thought Kirk could be a future president. And I shuddered at the thought of what that future presidency would look like for Americans and the rest of the world. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that Kirk's death is a terrible thing and has potentially dark consequences for those who supported him and those who hated him. Looking at the reaction online from a lot of people confirmed my concerns. Under a Fox News video announcing the shooting, I saw people laughing it off in comments like, "Anyways, how's your day been?" or "Wonder if bro's gun law opinions will change." This is part of a broader pattern. People on opposite ends of the spectrum don't just disagree anymore, they dehumanize one another. And once you dehumanize someone, their suffering doesn't matter. I saw it happen in 2024 when Luigi Mangione killed Brian Thompson, the CEO of a major health insurance company that was controversial for rejecting the claims of many people who needed financial help. Many people called Mangione a hero, painting Thompson as the embodiment of corporate greed. But Thompson was also a human being, a father of two, and celebrating him being gunned down on a sidewalk felt wrong, and celebrating how his kids no longer had a father, which some people did, felt inhumane. The same is true here. Kirk's words were harmful, I know that, and many of you watching know that too. But they were still just words. He didn't deserve to die for them. And when we celebrate that kind of violence happening to people we don't like, we normalize it as a viable tool to silence them. And that makes it easier for people who oppose us to justify more violence to silence us or to get revenge. That's a cycle I know all too well as a Palestinian. For decades, going back before I was even born, Israelis and Palestinians have dehumanized each other, and that has inevitably made the situation there worse. As much as I've always opposed Israel's apartheid state and its oppression of Palestinians, I have never wished for or celebrated the deaths of Israeli politicians and leaders who were responsible for policies caused so much suffering. People like Ariel Sharon and Shimon Peres in the past, or Benjamin Netanyahu in the present. As much as I despise what Netanyahu represents, I don't want him killed for his actions. That kind of hatred and violence is precisely what fuels and perpetuates the conflict. When both sides lose sight of the other's humanity, it becomes easier to justify more violence. For Israel to keep bombing and starving Palestinians in Gaza, for Palestinians to launch rockets into Israeli cities or to take Israeli hostages. And in the end, does that resolve anything? Or does it only deepen the cycle of dehumanizing hatred? I think we all know the answer. Charlie Kirk denied Israel was starving Palestinians in Gaza, despite all the evidence to the contrary from aid agencies.
There was an all-out propaganda campaign trying to make it seem as if Israel is intentionally starving the people of Gaza. I hate being lied to.
He denied Palestine itself exists, and yet even as a Palestinian, I can't revel in his death, because I believe in the power of words and arguments, not bombs and bullets, to win people over. And if I believe that, and you believe that, then we must extend that principle even to people like Charlie Kirk. So this video isn't about dismissing the harm that Kirk caused during his lifetime. It's about reminding ourselves that celebrating his death is a mistake, because once we lose sight of the humanity of the people we oppose, we start to lose our own. And that's it for me. What do you think? Whether you support Kirk or couldn't stand him, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments. I'm Secular Spirit, and if you found this video valuable, please give it a like and share it with others who might connect with it. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more videos like this. You can also support my work on Patreon or PayPal. The links are in the description below. See you in the next one.